It is midweek. I'm heading to teach the CPR friends and family at the hospital in the metro Atlanta area. Not necessarily that I want to be in this particular group chat, but the W-2 job at the hospital, there is a group chat. There's a couple people that are really spearheading it. You know what? Those folks really deserve some raises. You know, they're not nurses, but they deserve raises for all the extra stuff they do. Yeah, I had this interaction over this week in regards to W-2 jobs, and that's when I had the conversation with my daughter. I don't want to say that the interaction, I hate to say for a minute it had me effed up. That's the only way I could describe it, but I don't want to use profanity. I definitely want to keep it PG. I'm not saying I don't use those words, but I aspire not to and do the best. So, but this person had me, if effed up was a situation, that's how I would describe it. And I did put it in ChatGPT, not the names, but just like described what it was and what happened and my actions based on the information I knew, and to make sure to not take things personally. But it kind of had me effed up, and yeah. And you know, so anyway, the ChatGPT, let me get back. Well, my daughter's like, take some time. I'm like, I'm gonna do what you say, daughter. I'm glad I went to some counsel. Sometimes you got to seek counsel from your own adult children, etc., etc. Anyway, the ChatGPT says you made a decision based on the information you had, based on your experience. And one thing that I emphasize to this person is about the learning curve. But what the ChatGPT said was the reaction wasn't so much about you, but about their stress and their discomfort. So I had to just use all my resources and respond quick and short. And basically the responses were like 1 or 2 words, very short. And then when I did respond, I typed it up and I ran it through an editor without any personal information, like what my intention, what I wanted to convey. So, yeah. When someone is uncomfortable and they keep repeating the instructions over and over and over and over and over and over, now there's nothing wrong with repetition over a period of time. But if you're having a conversation with someone that has acknowledged that they read it and said going forward, etc., etc., I think maybe you should speak to them a certain, give some grace. But you know, I make decisions based on the information I have, and there is a human factor. So what I'm trying to say is, with the repetition, going off on another story. my mom, when she talks, she repeats things over and over and over and tells the same story over again. And most of the time I just listen and try and just get something out of. But she did that with my niece. And my niece said, well, you've said that 4 times. Why do you keep saying the over thing over? I heard what you said. So then that made my mom real upset, because she's not, I would never do that when I was a teenager. And so I was trying to get my daughter to maybe, kind of call my niece and kind of talk to her about, so to kind of get her a lay of the land. And so I told the story to my daughter, and she cracked up laughing. I said, well, clearly you're not going to be any help. And my daughter says, well, actually she's right. And I said, you don't do that with black grandmothers, okay? Anyway, I did. So anyway, this person kept looping into this story over and over and over again. And so with the ChatGPT, it says, well, it changed from feedback to almost like a parent-child loop. So that's something I dealt with, and I'm good. I don't tell particular details, but when you're dealing with people in jobs, there is a human factor, okay? So, but what I'll say is this person, if I would have allowed, would have had me effed up. No bad blood, not a wicked person. I mean, I've dealt with wicked before at that K through 12 job when I was working as a nurse consultant, that evil supervisor, and indirectly HR and all those other minions over there. So, but anyway, when I tell you, I was about to make a decision and decided not to. Bruh. Feels good to talk about it. And at this point, if this information got back to that person, you know what? It wouldn't bother me, because I've made decisions how I want 2028 to look, and 2029 and 2030, and I have flexibility. Okay? I'm a whole grown woman. I'm not in my 20s or 30s where you have to do a lot of stuff and a lot of bending and a lot of stuff when you have young children. So this is Danielle in her 60s. Really, Danielle in her 50s. When I did have bills and stuff like that, I went ahead and did what I had to do and left that toxic job. So my goal when I work somewhere is not have it be a better to leave than be escorted situation. But so anywho, I think sometimes people talk too much, and then they realize they're dealing with basically a person that is very conscientious and didn't do it to be trifling. It didn't come from a wicked place. Now, could something happen better? Yes. Could I have made a different decision? Yes. Does it make sense now? Yes, because that's the one thing at this hospital that they said in the policy. If it's something, and this wasn't, they have these red line things. It wasn't a red line thing. This was a customer service bid. I can't say some of this stuff, but at this job, they say you're on stage. Like, of course we're going to accommodate you. Of course we're going to switch things around to accommodate. Of course Even if something is set up a certain way and is somebody that's still on a learning curve, of course. Well, you should have asked. Yes, I ask, okay? But sometimes when there's a learning curve and you're dealing with technology, but I love this job. You know why? Because that money's going to be hitting that account soon. Because I've always been the type of person that when I start a job, you know, there's only 2 instances when this wasn't, well, wait a minute. Yeah, there's only been 2 instances when I worked a job for, wait a minute, let me think about it. It's been 3 instances when I've worked a job less than a year, okay? The first instance was in the hospital. That was 10 months. The second instance was a nursing home. I worked there 10 months, but it was with a government job and I did a lateral transfer. The third time was the government, the federal contract job I took in public health. And so I was just about at a year, maybe within 2 weeks of a year. So I was there for like 11 months and 2 weeks. Other than that, my jobs, I'm staying there for at least 5 or more years, okay? My work history is I have stayed on jobs. When I was in San Diego, I stayed at that this one job. It was for around 5-6 years, enough to vest. For the public health job in Atlanta, it was around 15 plus years, slightly above 15. And for the job in the school system, K through 12, that was around 13 years, plus I had around 6 months credit that I took from a state job and added it on. So it came to like 13 years, and it was like 13.666666667, something like that. And then I had time left over. So when the retirement organization calculated it, it calculated up to 14 years, okay? So I came to this hospital job thinking I am gonna stay here 5+ years. I wanna be here for at least 7 years, because that's my programming. But I have been reading those. I have this rest deck from Rest is Resistance with Tricia Hersey. I'm like, Lord, let me go ahead and reread that book again so I can get deprogrammed from this, because I don't have to do this anymore. This is what I'm realizing it. And it's so many things to do, even if I'm not able to get on a plane right away and go to another country. But there are so many things free things and fun things that I could be doing during the week. I mean, I have never been to the Atlanta Botanical Gardens ever. And I have been here living in Atlanta for more than 30 years. I've never been to the Atlanta Botanical Gardens. I've been to the World of Coca-Cola when it the older one that was downtown, but I haven't been to the new World of Coca-Cola. I haven't been to like the Cyclorama. I haven't been to so many things out here. I haven't been to that is it the Brennan, the Jewish center? I've been to Martin Luther King thing, but I haven't really been to the Jimmy Carter place. I mean, there are so many things that I haven't gone to since I've been out here. I'm not trying to get my car on the road traveling far, like going, even in the state. I drove to Macon with my dad, and I'm like, my God, this is fun. Those are the things that I haven't done. I could just get up and go. I mean, even driving out to another county on the freeway, there's one county that I haven't been to forever, and they have some nice stuff out there. That could be like a day trip. I'm thinking what I would like to say to this person is my daughter saved you some work. That's what I'm gonna say. Be like my mom trying to make it to heaven. It's like, woo. Staff-wise, that's really all I'm gonna say. See, what's going on is I've already sat up and journaled, and I start resetting goals, start locking in dates, etc., etc. So something happened, and then that makes me recalibrate and then look at my dates about when I'm gonna be doing things. All right, so probably some of the stuff got missed. These doggone spam calls. So what I'm saying is, when I get a plan in my head about what I'm gonna do, and I'll go ahead and reset it. With that K through 12 job, I was exit planning years before. Okay, thank you. I want some too. Mwah, 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 mwah. Okay.
One thing a black woman know how to do. Let's make it.
I'll tell you what freedom is to me. No fear.